I've never played a Far Cry game before, so today I decided to pick up Far Cry 5 and attempt to get every single achievement in the game, including the DLC. I'll have to complete the game twice and on the hardest difficulty. I'll have to fish for hours and I'll have to wrangle with completely broken multiplayer achievements. This is going to be a long one, so buckle up. After installing the stupid f***ing Ubisoft launcher, we kick things off with a cutscene setting up the main story, which revolves around a man named Joseph Seed, who has decided to set up a cult in Montana. The United States government isn't too happy about this, so they send in a marshal along with the county sheriff to arrest him. We play as a rookie police officer, and let's just say we're in for one hell of a first day. We arrest the dude and try to take him away in our helicopter, but his followers literally just climb all over it, and one dude jumps into the propeller to bring it down. What the fuck? The bird goes down and we have to run for our lives until we get into a truck with the Fed and have a pretty damn cool vehicle chase. I actually managed to snag an achievement here for killing 25 people while leaning out of a car window. Sadly, we drive off the road crashing into a lake, and if it wasn't for this good Samaritan, we would have drowned. He kindly shoves some exposition in our face and basically tells us that we need to build resistance on the island by freeing hostages, destroying cult properties, and liberating cult outposts. At the moment, we're on Dutch's Island, which really just serves as a tutorial area. After participating in a few shenanigans, we turn on this radio tower, which unlocks the entire map, and more importantly, unlocks an achievement. Now, Joseph, the good bloke, is quite the family man. His cult is sort of led in 3 parts, each by one of his family members, so we're gonna go and murder each and every one of them before getting to him. I decided to go for his older brother Jacob first, but before doing that I wanted to knock out the only co-op achievement in the game. It's super easy, you just have to join a buddy's game and complete 3 missions with him. Anyhow, back to good old Jacob. I started out by liberating a lumber mill under his control, which yielded about 400 resistance points out of the 10,000 I need to take him down. On my way, I did meet a girl named Jess, who takes us to free a few hostages and assassinate one of Jacob's prominent followers. This mission absolutely sucked because like half of it was just me walking up a mountain really slowly while listening to her prattle on.
Why do you have a bow and arrow? Like, literally have guns. I have an automatic rifle.
After that, I stumbled across this guy who's running for the Senate. Unfortunately, his campaign truck was stolen by the cult, so we tag along with his son to go steal it back.
Man, you are a good listener, Boba Fett. Oh, man doesn't listen at all. Guess that's why I never feel heard. Me and him, we ain't getting along.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is his campaign truck. Not even surprised.
At this point, we're about a third of the way to taking down Jacob, so we get kidnapped and he plays a song called Only You, which sends us into a weird trance where we kill a bunch of people. We then get rescued and taken to a resistance compound where we unlock numerous main missions. I also unlocked a helicopter, which made for some great fun.
They'll kill our people, so keep out of sight. There's a drain pipe nearby you can use to sneak up on them.
I continued with the main missions, getting more resistance points until I got kidnapped again by Jacob and he played a stupid song. The same exact thing happens again until we finally snap out and actually kill one of the people helping us. Luckily, we're able to overcome the brainwashing and continue gathering resistance points. It didn't take too long, and when I rescued this girl being held hostage, it pushed me over the 10,000 resistance point mark, giving me an achievement and allowing me to take down Jacob Seed. The mission where we kill him is actually really strange. Half of it is in a trance again, but we do snap out of it and murder his ass. I was expecting an achievement for that, but I guess not, and his storyline isn't over yet as we still have to rescue another police officer he had kidnapped at his bunker. This part was actually kinda hard, but I did get to use a flamethrower and the game gave me an achievement, so I can't complain. By the way, if you're wondering why I've never played a Far Cry game before, it's honestly because Ubisoft has never bothered to add achievements on Steam. But since they're on the verge of bankruptcy, I guess they need to give people a reason to buy their games, so they're going back and adding them, hence why I bought Far Cry 5. Regardless, it's time to head over to Joseph's younger sister Faith's territory. We begin by helping the sheriff from the start of the game defend the county jail. Similar to Jacob's territory, I need to accumulate 13,000 resistance points to take Faith down. I did a couple of main missions that involved rescuing hostages, killing preachers, and even destroying the massive statue of Joseph. Unfortunately, my dumbass hit the pause button on the recording, so I don't have much footage. All 3 regions follow the same pattern, so when we're about a third of the way there, we get kidnapped and do a weird trial. This one was a lot easier, we just had to jump off a cliff. Something I've wanted to do for a long time. Also, someone should tell Robert Kennedy that Faith has been putting hallucinogens in the water. He doesn't like stuff in the water. That notwithstanding, we go and try to shut down the water pumps, and oh my god, this was confusing. My 2 brain cells just couldn't put this one together. I had to look up a YouTube tutorial to find the entrance. On the bright side, I did get an achievement. On my way to the next main mission where you have to destroy a drug farm, I took out some patrol boats, incidentally completing a side quest and earning an achievement for completing 3 side quests in Hope County. We have to burn these fields, and let me just say, I don't think the developers quite understand how fire works.
Okay, how does that not classify as burning the fields?
Oh, and by the way, this game has an amazing score.
Dude, this music slaps.
After getting more points, we slip into another trance and listen to a lovely monologue by the one and only Joseph Seed, and when we snap out of it, we actually get an achievement. A little later, I had to help an old lady rescue her cat. Yes, rescue her cat. For some reason, doing so gave me an achievement. This game is so weird. Like, no achievement when I kill Jacob, but yes, achievement for rescuing the cat. It is kinda cool because the cat will follow us around now and help us take down enemies. By the way, this game has a lot of bugs, but most of them are just hilarious.
County. Everyone thought they'd make things better here. Couldn't imagine it would come to this.
Oh my god.
Anyway.
What the fuck? Who developed this game? The poor guy!
Remember the US Marshal from the beginning of the game? Yeah, he's been infected, so to speak, with the drugs, and we have to rescue him from Faith, earning an achievement. There are also a bunch of cultist outposts in the game. I've been liberating them to earn resistance points, and when I did 5 of them, an achievement popped. Eventually, I got all 13,000 points and fell into a slumber, only to wake up to the county jail being sieged by cultists. I jump on in, neutralizing them all and rescuing as many resistance fighters as I can. We then begin hallucinating again and murder Faith in our dreams before heading to her bunker to rescue the sheriff and shut down drug production once and for all. Upon completing the final mission, you can guess what happened. Now it's time to head to the final region, controlled by a guy named John. First things first, we liberate the town, and on my way I destroyed some cultists' property, earning the achievement for destroying some in each region. I then went on to blow up this truck and this outpost before being captured by John and his goons. Luckily, we get rescued by this good bloke, and then we storm the cultists, rescuing the many resistance members they've captured. Here there was actually one of those survive for 2 minutes while reinforcements arrive type missions, which was pretty neat. I hadn't seen that in the game before. Honestly, I know I haven't finished the game yet, but I find it to be super repetitive. As far as I can tell, all 3 regions are basically the exact same. Anyhow, I'll deliver my final verdict at the end of the video. Continuing on my journey, I did a good deed and rescued some civilians.
Why are they the exact same? Yeah, we're gonna need to fix this.
One thing I've noticed is that this game really has a thing for getting people's trucks back. First it was the senator dude, then it was this lady, and now it's a guy called Merle's truck we have to retrieve. Anything for those resistance points, I guess. When I finished one of the missions, I noticed that there was a Clutch Nixon nearby. Clutch Nixons are literally just your bog standard races, but you get an achievement for doing one in all 3 regions. I'd made sure to do one in Jacob's and Faith's earlier, so I quickly snagged the final one here. Next, I decided to go for a nice leisurely flight in my helicopter when all of a sudden I was shot with a stun dart and kidnapped by John. He chucks me and another deputy in a room and is about to do some weird shit to us. Thankfully, we managed to untie ourselves and escape the facility. Sadly, we have to leave the other deputy behind. On our way out, John tells us what our sin is and the game awards us an achievement. In the next mission, we get to fly a plane, which was really fun but also kind of confused me. The whole premise of this game is that we're stuck on an island and can't contact people on the outside for help. Yet we have cars, boats, helicopters, and planes. Why don't we just, like, fly out for 20 minutes, get to mainland, and call in the fucking National Guard? Despite the stupidity of the idea that we have planes, flying one did earn me an achievement, so I can't complain too much. Before taking down John, I decided to go and do one of the side quest lines I need to do for 100% completion, as it will get me some resistance points as well as an achievement. It's a really weird quest line. Basically, we help this guy called Larry transport himself into space. Yeah. Space. He believes that there are aliens watching us, so we do 4 quests in total, helping him retrieve alien wreckage and assisting him in working his wacky machine. Honestly, not what I was expecting in a Far Cry game, but you live and learn. Oh yeah, and remember Herc, the son of the guy running for the Senate? Yeah, there's an achievement for getting him to destroy 15 vehicles, so I did that. And right after that, it's time to fight John. We head back to the main camp in this region, only to find that all of our friends have been kidnapped and he's forcing them to submit to Joseph and the cult. Luckily, the pastor has one last trick up his sleeve, pulling a gun out of his Bible, forcing John and the other cultists to retreat. This whole sequence was truly epic. We jump in a truck with a turret and chase them all the way to John's airstrip, where he gets in a plane. After the boring finales Jacob and Faith had, I was not expecting this at all, but we also jump in a plane and have a dogfight with John. As I was jumping in the plane, I actually performed my 25th takedown on a cultist for an achievement. Anyhow, we shoot John down and collect the key to his bunker from his corpse. This was the highlight of the game for me. John was a really interesting character, way better than the other 2 Seed siblings. Just like the other 2, we go to his bunker and rescue one of the cops who was with us, blow it to hell, and collect that sweet, sweet achievement. Now it's time to confront Joseph. We make our way to his compound and he gives us the option to either walk away or fight him. I chose to fight him, and after a short skirmish, we arrest him. Then, to my absolute surprise, a nuclear bomb goes off, and we have to rush to a bunker. Joseph and I are the only ones who make it there. Everyone else dies, and the credits roll. Wow, that was a pretty insane story, which took me about 21 hours, and I'm not even a third of the way done. It's now time for all 28 remaining achievements in the base game. First off, I did the only side quest I'll need to do, in which we deliver a baby. It's actually pretty funny. One of the guys who fights with us during the main story has a wife who goes into labor, and we have to drive them to the midwife. While I'm doing this, I'll need to save up $50,000 to spend on vehicles for an achievement. When I finished the main story, I ended up with about 28,000, so it's gonna take a little while. A good way to do this is to do prepper stash missions, short missions where you go and loot caves and bunkers. After doing 3 of them, an achievement popped. I then did a couple of the more fun ones.
I need to get a headshot from 150 meters away. Should be that. So let's see if I can do it. Hell yeah. I also need to destroy 10 planes in an aerial vehicle. Hopefully this one works. There it is. Easy. I actually sort of used a glitch because you can just spawn in your own plane and then destroy it in a helicopter. It's super easy. This one's kind of weird, but I need to run 5 people over with a tractor. That was a civilian, my bad. This is what I'm going to take out a cult outpost in. Okay. There's one, I think. I think we got him. 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, there we go.
Now, it was at this point where I looked at the achievements and discovered that there's a DLC achievement for completing New Game Plus on the hardest difficulty. I'll have to go for it eventually, so I decided to start New Game Plus now and get the remaining miscellaneous achievements during it.
What the hell, dude? What the... No. Oh, God.
This opening section was so fucking hard, I genuinely thought about just giving up entirely. I actually had a bunch of clips of me dying and crashing the fuck out, but for most of it, I was just listening to music, so all you really hear is a bunch of yelling drowned out by remastered songs. It kinda goes hard, not gonna lie, but I don't want a copyright strike, so... Oh dude, I did, oh my fucking god, thank god. The beginning was the same as my first playthrough. I liberated Dutch's Island, only this time I had all my gear right off the bat. Very early on, I got the achievement for speaking to 50 different NPCs. Before doing the super grindy achievements, I decided to do some exciting ones, such as this one where you have to destroy 4 vehicles with 1 bomb from a plane. The way you do it is you fly to a garage and then get out 4 of your own cars and bomb them all. Kinda scuffed, but it works. It was actually really difficult though. It took me over half an hour because the vehicles kept despawning. You can sabotage vehicles in the game by making the engine explode, and you have to get 5 kills by doing that, so I did. This was also near impossible because being on the hardest difficulty, it was incredibly challenging to pull this off without being shot. This game does have collectibles, but you only have to get 3 of them, so it takes like 5 minutes.
And here should be the final collectible. Yes, there we go.
The next achievement was for running 20 people over. I really struggled with this one because the counter was completely buggered. I genuinely thought it just wasn't gonna pop. As a last ditch effort, I tried using a tractor with a meat grinder attached to the front, and it seemed to work. The game said I needed 3 more kills, so naturally after doing 14 more, the achievement popped. For some unknown reason, there's an achievement for killing a bull with your bare hands. Thankfully, there's a potion you can drink which will allow you to one-hit them, so I did that. Strangely enough, there's another achievement for doing the exact same thing with a bison. After that, I moved on to all the hunting and fishing challenges. There are 28 of these in total, and the hunting challenges alone took me over 2 hours, mainly due to the fact that the places the game marks as being filled with certain animals usually contain none of those animals. The worst one was skinning 3 eagles because they were really hard to find, and when you finally managed to kill one, they usually despawn before you could go and skin them. Now onto the fishing. There are 3 achievements related to fishing in this game. One for completing all the fishing and hunting challenges, which I've already covered, one for selling 20 fish at shops, and then the most difficult, acquiring all 4 fishing rods. The first 2 rods can easily be purchased at stores, but the next 2 aren't so easy. For one, I'll need to complete a few side quests from a lady named Skylar, which just involve catching different types of fish. It's not too bad. However, for the next one, I need to beat all 12 fishing records. At first, I found fishing really difficult. I spent several hours wanting to gouge my eyes out, but after reading a lot of Steam forums and Reddit threads, I figured out a good strategy. It's very important to stand as far in the water as possible, as otherwise the rod just won't reel in any further and you can't grab the fish. After catching a few fish for Skylar, we go out in the water to catch one called the Admiral. It's not hard at all. You just stand there for 5 minutes fighting with him until you eventually catch him, unlocking the 3rd fishing rod. Directly following that, I began the long journey of trying to break the weight records for all 12 fish. The new rod definitely helped, but it was still painful and took me multiple hours.
It's 3 in the morning. I don't want to fish anymore.
It was really weird. Some fish I'd get first try, while others would take 20, 30, or even 40 attempts. Very early on, I got the achievement for selling 20 fish to shops. And on a side note, the game has some shitty crafting mechanics, and I got an achievement for crafting 25 recipes. Anyhow, here are the final 2 fish.
Alright, and here should be the last fish we need for all hunting and fishing challenges. Wait, and here should be the final record we need to get a fish that's over 28 pounds. Whoa, 31. Easy.
I earned quite a bit of money doing that, so I went to a garage and purchased 3 vehicles for an achievement. I actually bought more than 3 because I also wanted to snag the one for spending $50,000 in the garage. I had about 5 grand left over, so I spent $1,000 on clothes. And finally, I unlocked every attachment on a weapon. Far Cry 5 contains a skill tree with 50 perks. Thankfully, I don't have to get all of them, I just have to unlock half. Unfortunately, I lost a bunch of them when I started New Game Plus, so I don't quite have enough for 25. I worked out the best way to do it, spending the least amount of perk points, and then I did one quick mission enabling me to buy the last few perks I needed.
And there's a final one. At 25, I think. Unless I can't count. Come on. Achievement pop. Achievement. Have I counted wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 25. What?
So yeah, the achievement just didn't pop. I have no idea why, we'll get back to it. So after that, I really quickly got an achievement for gliding 5,000 meters with the wingsuit. Let's move on to the arcade mode and worry about the rest later. The arcade mode is where both developers and players can create maps for people to play, and there are 5 achievements linked to this. I started off with the achievement for successfully completing 10 solo or co-op maps. I did them solo because I have no friends. I literally just played the same map 10 times, but honestly it was pretty chill blasting NPCs on one monitor and watching X Factor Australia from 2011 on the other. Next, I decided to get the achievement for playing the arcade hero mode 5 times. I tried to join one and it crashed. No matter, I'll just try again. So I tried a couple more times, achieving the exact same result. I looked it up on the Steam forums, and it turns out a lot of people are having this issue. After 9 tries, one map finally loaded, and I just kept hitting the replay button until I'd played it 5 times, and thank God the achievement popped. The last 3 arcade achievements will all be unlocked in the multiplayer. This was absolutely atrocious and made the fishing challenges look exhilarating. The multiplayer is completely dead, so you have to boost with other people. I found a couple really good guys and it went off. With a hitch, a very big hitch. You see, every time I got a kill or died, Ubisoft would kick me and close the entire server. We spent about 3 hours trying to figure it out, restarting our routers, etc. Eventually concluding that it was due to the ping difference. With these people being all the way in Europe and me being in New Zealand, the connection was just so unstable. I was this close to giving up, but I persevered and found a nice bloke from Australia, and we spent a couple hours playing this mode where you just throw shovels at each other until we each got the achievement for winning 10 multiplayer matches. During that time, I also got the achievements for reaching arcade level 20 and getting 100 kills. I really quickly went back into the main game and distracted 15 enemies with rocks. But I decided to worry about the perk achievement later because I wasn't quite sure what the problem was. That means it's time for the DLC. Far Cry 5 features 3 DLCs and will be kicking things off with Hours of Darkness. Set in Vietnam during the war, this DLC contains 7 achievements and should take me about 5 hours to complete. You play as an American soldier who's just crash landed, and your one and only goal is to reach the other side of the map where you can be extracted. Very early on, after escaping Viet Cong how hard is this to say captivity? Very early on, after escaping Viet Cong captivity, I made my way to the crash site and retrieved my gear, earning an achievement. Now, while you can run straight to the extraction site, I'll have to go out of my way a bit in order to get an achievement for rescuing 3 of my fellow soldiers from captivity. Furthermore, if you get 4 kills in a row without being spotted, you get 4 survival instinct tokens, which don't really matter, but there is an achievement for killing 25 enemies with all 4 tokens active, so I did. Shortly after, I came to the 3rd and final soldier and rescued him. Once that was done, I beelined towards the extraction point, and after fending off hordes of Viet Cong guerrillas, I escaped on a helicopter. But we're not done yet. I still have to complete 2 more playthroughs, one on action mode where I have unlimited access to airstrikes and can carry significantly more ammo, and another on survivor mode where I can only carry 1 main weapon and enemies detect me more easily. All the while I have to deal with significantly less health and ammunition. I did action mode first, and during it I went for the achievement for killing 25 enemies with airstrikes. It actually took quite a while, as I had to go a decent way out of my way to get those 25 kills. Nonetheless, I did it before moving on to survivor mode. Survivor mode was actually the easiest because I could just run straight through to the extraction point. It only took me half an hour completing the DLC. The next DLC is called Dead Living Zombies and consists of 7 separate levels which are narrated by a man named Guy Marvel who is directing a movie. They're all relatively easy and mildly entertaining. 4 out of the 7 achievements are miscellaneous, so let's go through them quickly. The first one was in the first movie and it was simply for running over 10 zombies with a tractor. In the second movie I was on a bridge which you can jump off instead of walking over, earning an achievement. The next one wasn't until the 5th movie where I killed a blood dragon. And it wasn't until the 7th movie where I destroyed a bunch of beehives. Once I completed the final movie, another achievement popped for doing just that. Once all 7 movies are completed, a mode called Score Attack is unlocked in each one, where you have to complete the movies in a certain amount of time while getting the highest score possible. I need to get a gold medal in each, meaning I'll have to complete them even quicker with a very high score. This achievement is borderline impossible to do solo, so I invited one of my buddies and we did them all in about 90 minutes. The final achievement for the Zombies DLC is absolutely ridiculous, and I have no idea why the bastards at Ubisoft decided to include it, but it's for killing a total of 5,000 zombies. Even worse, there's no tracker, so you have no idea how close or far away you are. The way I did it was by using an exploit where you park this tractor with a meat grinder on the end of it in front of a barn. Thanks to Ubisoft's inability to code proper AI, they just run straight into it. You get around 10 kills per minute, and I ended up AFKing for about 5 hours. The next, and thankfully final DLC is set on Mars. Yes, these just keep getting weirder and weirder. So essentially, we play as some guy trapped on Mars with Herc, who has been reduced to all but a floating head. We have to take him around the map doing the most boring, tedious, and repetitive tasks known to man while fighting these mindless aliens. I got the first achievement for rebooting a terminal on top of a control center. I spent about an hour more in this DLC and my mental health was actually on the brink. This was so painful. So I went back to the base game because I wanted to figure out what was wrong with the perk achievement. I did some reading online and it turns out that when you start New Game Plus, you keep the perks, but the achievement tracker resets, leaving you completely and utterly fucked. So I've got over 30 out of the 40 required perks, but the achievements still won't pop. Not only that, but the main way you earn perk points is by doing the fishing and hunting challenges, all of which I've already completed. I've already spent 74 hours of my time on this game. I've pushed through so many glitches and awful multiplayer achievements, and I'm sorry to disappoint, but I just can't be fucked anymore. So I'm going to end it there at 64 out of 72 achievements completed. Maybe when I have some more time on my hands I'll come back, but for now, go check out this Shadow of War video.